This video is sponsored by Change Checker, and they're giving away 10 of the brand new Winnie the Pooh 50p coins. Keep your eyes peeled for the golden bear hidden somewhere in this video, and comment the timestamp to be in with the chance of winning. The winners will be announced at the end of next week's video. Winnie the Pooh is a children's book classic, and yesterday became one of the many beloved characters to be portrayed on British coins. But did you know that Winnie was a real bear? A bear who had an incredible story of his own, or rather her own. Winnie was actually a girl. To tell this story, we need to go to one of my favourite places in the world, London Zoo. Opened in 1828, London Zoo is the world's oldest scientific zoo and has quite the colourful history. The zoo prided itself on the latest and greatest architecture of the time, and so as well as being a who's who of the animal kingdom, is a contents page of the changing architectural styles of the last 2 centuries. There's the clock tower, the oldest building in the zoo, built the year of opening and formerly home to llamas and camels. The giraffe house followed 8 years later, and is the oldest purpose-built zoo building in the world, and today it's still used to house giraffes. It's recently got a sparkly new addition in the form of a sign celebrating the NHS. There's the Blackburn Pavilion, a marvellous indoor aviary built in 1882. The Reptile House, which you may recognise from the first Harry Potter film. So this is the exact spot where Dudley falls through the glass. And arguably most famous of all, the fiercely modernist penguin pool completed in 1934. Today, as the focus of zoos has thankfully shifted much more towards animal welfare and conservation, the penguins are kept in a considerably more spacious and well-suited exhibit, Penguin Beach. But as well as famous buildings, the zoo has been home to a number of famous animals. There was Jumbo the elephant, who arrived in 1865 and quickly became the talk of the city. Visitors could ride him all around the zoo, and Jumbo also went on to inspire Dumbo. That's some really imaginative naming going on right there. There was Guy the gorilla, who captured the hearts of the country through his frequent TV appearances, and even enjoyed the sweets he was fed by visitors. And then there was Winnie, the American black bear who'd go on to become the most famous of them all. The year was 1914 and the First World War had just begun. A Canadian vet by the name of Harry Colebourn volunteered his service, and before the Canadian Army made their way to England to help fight, Colebourn rescued a bear cub from a hunter at a train station in Ontario, naming her Winnie after his hometown of Winnipeg. He brought Winnie with him to England, and she was a hit with the soldiers. Being essentially hand-reared, she was incredibly friendly and did wonders for morale, and they even made her the regimental mascot of the Canadian Army Veterinary Corps. But when Colebourn and the army had to travel to the battle zones in France, he left Winnie in the care of London Zoo. And once again, Winnie was a hit. Visitors adored her. And behind me are the Mappin Terraces where Winnie the Bear was kept. The Mappin Terraces were opened the same year and see 4 large artificial mountains, in an effort to create a more natural environment for the enclosure's residents. Over the years, it's been home to countless species, from polar bears to chimpanzees, although today it's home to the zoo's outback section. Like many of the buildings I mentioned earlier, it's what's known as a listed building, granting certain protections to historically important architecture, so it remains in much the same form today as it was over 100 years ago, although certain parts are now closed to the public. It's crazy to think that zoo visitors used to be able to explore this entire section. And it's here that Winnie called home. And when Lieutenant Colebourn eventually returned from war, he was so moved by how much the visitors loved Winnie that he entrusted her to the zoo for good. Today, both Colebourn and Winnie are commemorated by this statue in the zoo, and it's said to be good luck to rub Winnie's nose. One of Winnie's adoring visitors was a young boy by the name of Christopher Robin. His father, A.A. Milne, had served in the First World War himself and saw how smitten his son had become with Winnie. In fact, Christopher Robin was so enamoured that he even renamed his own teddy bear from Edward to Winnie. He also had toys named Eeyore, Kanga, Piglet, Roo and Tigger, which today can be seen on display at the New York Public Library. I guess at this point, A.A. Milne didn't exactly have a lot of work left to do, although he did create Owl and Rabbit from his own imagination. And well, the rest is history. The Winnie the Pooh books have gone on to sell over 50 million copies worldwide, and been adapted by Disney into countless films, TV shows and even rides. The real-life Winnie lived out the rest of her days in the zoo, surrounded by the love and affection of keepers and visitors alike. And as for Colebourn, he remained in London until 1920, working at the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, and would often visit his beloved bear. If you want to get your paws on the new Winnie the Pooh 50p, it can be purchased from the link in the description for only £4.50 plus postage and packaging. There's going to be an incredible 9 coins in total, with 2 more following later this year, plus 3 next year and 3 the year after. And it comes in a cool change checker case. Or if you're like me, you can take it out and put it in the change checker album. The zoo isn't currently accepting cash, so I couldn't get any coins in my change, but I did have some luck at the bookshop where I bought the Winnie the Pooh book and teddy. Rather fittingly, I found a coin featuring another beloved bear, Paddington. Using the free Find a Coin function on Change Checker's website, I can enter the coin's year and denomination to learn all about it. So it sees Paddington at Buckingham Palace, and there were just under 6 million of them made. Make sure to comment the timestamp of the golden bear for your chance to win a coin, or buy one right now from the link in the description.